Hey guys, what's up? Mancake here, and it's time to start my Dynasty, my franchise, the association, whatever you want to call it. First things first though, I'm going to show you my game sliders and I'm going to attempt using, because I am doing this on Hall of Fame. I've used these before, they're okay. I'm probably going to make some significant changes, but if you're going to use them, check out those file settings up above and write those down and use those. Otherwise, here is the draft class. I've went through a ton of these. Sheb appears to have the most effort put into his. Players look pretty good. Ratings are a little bit off, in my opinion, so I'm going to go ahead and fix those at some point, and I'll show you the edited ones here at some point. But in order to actually load those sliders into the association, you got to actually load them before you start it. So make sure you do that, which I'm doing right now. Beyond that, it's time to choose my team. And first things first, though, I've got to actually set my settings here, and I'm going to turn off the trade deadline so that I can actually trade draft picks around at the end of the season to get them to the proper lottery teams, because, you know, it doesn't always sim out correctly. And I'm definitely turning off CPU trades. I just don't want them making crazy trades during the season, obviously, because the season's almost come to a conclusion as it is, and the rosters are up to date currently. And you know, we're going to go ahead and get this started. There's a ton of options. I could choose those 76ers, the Wizards, the Warriors. But, you know, the Timberwolves, you know, they had a couple votes, but it turns out I'm going to go ahead and choose my Detroit Pistons. Oh, wait, no, I'm not. I'm actually going to choose those New Jersey Nets. Like 12 or some odd ridiculous number of votes. Just some quick settings here. I'm going to turn these on because I am simulating the first season for those that don't know, picking it up at the off season. And just quick settings, and don't really know too much about these Nets besides the fact that I have a man crush on Brook Lopez. And I like Terrence Williams because he always seems to get a ton of rebounds whenever I simulate a season or play a season in association. So should be interesting. But nonetheless, it's going to be really interesting to play around with these guys, assuming they stay through the first season. But I'm definitely hoping to keep Brook Lopez, maybe Devin Harris. We'll see how this goes. Nonetheless, I'm going to go ahead and show you just a couple more things here. Got to actually save it here. I'm going to save it as the Nets. Oh, yeah. Really creative, I know. Anyway, one more comment about those sliders. I might actually consider posting some on the 2K share if I can find some that work. They'll probably be tuned towards the 10 or 12 minute Hall of Fame settings, but I'm going to give this guys a run, see how they go. And obviously, I've saved my draft class and edited it a little bit, so this is my draft class as of now. And I'm going to load it and yeah, go ahead and start this season up a little bit here. For those of you that might be curious why I'm using all these custom sliders and foul settings, if you've never played an association game on Hall of Fame, then you would have experienced, you know, a team that gets a ton of offensive rebounds, scores a ton in the paint, does a ton of backdoor cuts, throws a ton of lame oops, and frankly, you know, you just don't shoot free throws. And I'm going to try and make this realistic. And here's another example of how I'm going to do that. I'm going to turn on real player free throw percentage just so, like, you know, if you master a player's free throw who only has like a 60 free throw rating, it's just not really realistic at all. And of course, I've got to fire Lawrence Frank, and I'm going to hire a bum coach so that I can hopefully sign some good scouts to properly scout all these players. Although I have actually seen all the ratings, I still want to make it, you know, I don't know everybody's ratings outside of the top 10, and, you know, the Nets have a chance at landing, you know, a top 3 player, hopefully. And let's see what kind of candidates we have here. And oh, wow, I've never seen 2 A+ scouts. I'm definitely going to sign these guys. That's going to limit me in my budget, but we'll see how this goes. I won't be able to sign too many players. And that guy's a serious pedophile, but a happy one at that. Wow. Here we have some of the edited draft picks sorted by rating, and I'm going to check out all these guys one by one. And here's Evan Turner. He looks pretty good, and thanks to Sheb once again for making some pretty good-looking players. And one of the problems I've had with almost all the draft class I've run into is just Evan Turner was okay, like an 80, and I think he's the more complete player of John Wall and him at the moment. I think John Wall has a much higher ceiling, and John Wall in all these draft classes has been like an 85, 86 overall, and that is so unrealistic, I think. And he's got like 93-point shooting, and I love John Wall, don't get me wrong, and I really hope we can land him in this draft, but you know, he's just not the greatest of shooters yet. But he's a very good athlete, and he looks pretty good, I think. Not the best overall, but some good effort into him, and you can tell there was some detail put into these guys, and we'll see how this goes. And another player I'm interested to see pan out here is Derrick Favors. Everybody seems to see him as a sleeper, and you know, you never know. Last really good player to come from Georgia Tech, I think you guys remember him, Chris Bosch. You know, he was a lottery pick as well, and he's turned out pretty well, I think, and he looks pretty good once again, so another good draft pick. And of course the all crazily overhyped players and DeMarcus Cousins. We'll see how he pans out. I think he's a very good player with some attitude problems, but I think he looks the best overall here. I expect him to, honestly. You know, I think he's easiest to make with that headband, and he's a little bit bigger of a head, but he looks pretty good, I think, and I think he could be a good player. He's kind of got the athleticism of an Andrew Bynum, who really can't jump that high, but you know, he's good, and he's big, got good size, and Wesley Johnson is one of the oldest players that'll probably go in the lottery, and you know, you don't see too many guys staying this long in college. He's a little undersized, but I think he has some potential. He's not the greatest of players, I don't think, but you know, he could be a really solid player in the future, and maybe make a name for himself on those championship teams and down the road. That's what I'm going to say. Over the course of the season, I'm not really going to play any games. I'm just going to run these drills on Devin Harris and Brook Lopez just to increase their trade value, if anything. And the dribble course is what I'm going to run a couple times on Brook Lopez to increase his athleticism. And I'm definitely going to do shooting a lot on Devin Harris to increase his scoring ability overall, and should be interesting. I love 2K. Somehow when I simulated the season, I made the playoffs, but it's not looking good. I'm facing Cleveland, and yeah, it's kind of what I expected. And Cleveland's rolling right now, but Boston, what a comeback, down 3-0. Man, they've come back oh my god, they came back all 3 series to win the championship. Oh wow, yeah, Rondo had a beastly playoff finals there, and you know, we got the retiring players here, nobody too important, and like I had mentioned a while back, we don't have really any money on this team after signing those scouts, but that's not terribly important, especially considering I'm basically going to be coaching the team from here on out and playing every game. But you know, I can't really afford anybody, so I'm going to sign the guy with the best looking mustache, and he's got a good one, so he definitely deserves to be on the New Jersey Nets. But you know, I got to accept these options on all 3 of these players. All 3 of them have some good trade value, and I definitely love Brook Lopez, and no surprise there. LeBron James declining, but everyone else, it appears, has accepted. I'm kind of hoping there would be more free agents available, but you know, what are we going to do? And got to re-sign some players, but I really don't care for anybody but CDR, because he's got good trade value, and I'm going to mix things up here, hopefully, and we'll see how things, you know, continue here. But I got to pay him a little bit, and unfortunately, you know, I don't like paying people, but it'll happen. We'll see how this goes, but don't really care for anybody else, so I'm going to just advance right through this, and it's time for the all-important draft lottery. Now, I'd turned on the trade override to trade around all these picks, and they're somewhat close. At least the top 3 are okay, and otherwise the top 10 have pretty much everybody who's in the lottery, but we'll see how this goes. Hopefully I can win number 1 and, you know, have the opportunity to draft John Wall. Looking good so far. Nobody's out of place. Still good. Oh, yes. That means I get to draft whoever I want first overall. Should be interesting, and unfortunately, I think I'm going to go ahead and pause it for now, and you guys should see in the next video. Stay tuned, dudes. Thanks.